Hi, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I wanted to share with you a bundle that is in our 2025 mini catalog for the holidays. Anyway, initially I had bought this stamp set called Sweet Jar, and I make these calendars that I sell. And I wanted something for St. Patrick's Day. So I bought this stamp set just primarily for this stamp to use on my March calendar page. So, and I do sell these on Etsy if you're interested, and the templates and the cases too. So, anyway, that is why I bought this stamp set, but it's also got like little jelly beans for Easter, and there's hearts for Valentine's, and then birthday miss you bunches. There's some sprinkles in the back, some candles for birthdays, and some smaller hearts, and smaller clover leaf for Shamrock. And it says a little treat for you, and sending you a little, and then it has a cute little jar. So I didn't use the jar. I just wanted this. And then the mini catalog came out with this jar of joy. So, and actually the builder punch came with this bundle, but I didn't buy the punch at that time. So now that it's unbundled or sold separately, it's not bundled with jar of joy, I don't believe. Anyway, I thought, well, this is cute. I can use this punch for both these sets, and this would be nice for my calendars for next year. So, but it has this cute little jar that you punch out. See that? It's kind of glaring there. So it's got a lid, and I thought this would also make a cute shaker card window for shaker cards. So it has like Christmas, and I love little gingerbread men, and it's a two-step stamp, and then it's got this little snowman, and here's his scarf, and then a little band for his hat, and there's like little dots for snowflakes, and it's got these cute little ornaments, and it says, "May your hearts be filled with joy, sending a jar full of cheer, and wishing you the sweetest Christmas." So, if you saw my previous post, I had showed how to make what I did with it here, a coneflower pop-up card. It's called a pop-out card. Anyway, I just did a demonstration, or did I do the video? Oh, here it is. So this is the coneflower pop-up card. And this pops open and the card pops up. So I thought, well, maybe I could do something with this card that I made for the instruction sheet. So you can do this vertically, and you have to cut the paper this way. It has to be 4 1/4 by 11. So your image can either be portrait or landscape. So I thought I would try this. I have no real plan for this. I'm just going to kind of wing it, and use this instruction sheet, or this template that I made for my jar of joy. So I'm going to set that one aside, and we're just going to start stamping here. So I've got some retired DSP from a few years ago. It was with the gingerbread bundle, actually a suite, and it came with memories and more cards, and the paper and dies and all that kind of stuff, and it was basically gingerbread stuff. So there's the other side of it. But I have these cute little starlight mints, if you can see those, and I wanted to use those today too. So we're just going to see how this goes. So this is 4¼ by 5½, and I'm going to cut a piece of red cardstock. So I'm going to go 4⅛ by 5�3/8. I believe that is. So, and that's going to be part of our base. Oh, I didn't cut that very well. There we go. And then we're going to use this, and it is going to be 4 by 5¼ . So we're going to set that aside. Now comes the winging it part. For the inside of the card, I wanted to use the same colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, kind of jumping back and forth here, and I'm going to do the little jar. And I think I'm just going to punch the jar out. I'm not going to trying to think here on colors. I'm going to use the gingerbread and the 2-step, and then I think for the front I'm probably going to use another thing I do is I kind of a nerd, but I'll scan this in my computer, and then I do it like in Word, and then I flip the image so that I can read on this side what is over here. So anyway, it's easy with the images, but the words, and especially if there's a lot of words, I'll flip it like that. So I haven't done that yet, but then I'll just slide it in. I'll slide it in on the other side over here so I can tell what it is. So, and I'm old and I need all the help I can get. So let us punch out. Now first we're going to stamp, I think. And do 2 of these. And I'm going to bring in my paper piercing mat to stamp on. See if we can find a piece of scrap paper here. Kind of cover it up. Something's in the way here. There we go. So we got that there. And the reason I do this is because these don't have as much cush as the red rubber. So the clear stamps, I think that's what they call them, or red rubber, or either one. And I think they're going away from those. I think everything's going to photopolymer pretty much, which I like because I can see through them. So this is going to be the gingerbread part, and I'm going to use pecan pie. And you can use whatever colors you have, whatever tools you have. Some of the things I may have today are retired, like the DSP. So I'm not sure if I like that, if it's dark enough for me. I'm trying to think of another color. I might go with, I did a bunch of, I do these Hershey Nugget sleeves that I sell at craft fairs, and it has a gingerbread man, and I think I always used early espresso. So I'm going to try to line these up I'm looking at this one right here to go here and see how this goes. Hey, that's not bad. I'm going to actually go over and grab my early espresso. And I'm going to try this in the darker color. I'm going to clean off my stamp there. And you can just play around with this and find what you like. So now we used to have soft suede, which we discontinued, I think. I have a hard time keeping up with everything. Actually, and this is a little bit easier to line up too, because the image is darker. So I'm not sure which one I like better. Kind of hard. I thought this pecan pie would be dark enough. Yeah, they don't. I'm going to re-ink my pad and see if that makes a difference. I think this will be a better color. I just don't think it's dark enough. Got our pecan pie re-inker. And I always buy the re-inkers too, just because sometimes the colors are retired. And then if I really like the color, I'm kind of out of luck. So I'm just going to squeeze some on here, and I like to kind of rub it around a little bit after I've inked it up, just to kind of distribute it a little bit more. Let's see if that makes a difference. So we're going to, I think this might be better. Go over here. Actually, I'm just going to flip this over and stamp right here where I did that one. And I'm going to hold it down a little bit more just to give that ink a chance to sink in. Oh, I like that better. Yes. Pecan pie it is. I just needed more ink on my pad. And then we're going to see if I can line up the accent colors. There. Much better. Now I'm just going to cut this. A little trimmer here. And see if how this fits in this jar. Oh, I need to cut off the bottom. This little paper trimmer they had a few years ago. And kind of glad I got it. I use it for a lot of different things. So I'm going to center him in there. And I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to put color on the lid. Okay, so I actually got a scrap of pecan pie. It just seems really dark in here. I'm not sure why. I think my light is on the wrong setting. That's better. So I think I have a ceiling light burning out too. That may be part of the problem. So we're going to punch the lid out of this scrap of pecan pie. I can't decide which way I want to go. We'll get rid of that one. Or if I want to do red. Just give us some options here. There. So I am going to put this on the front of the card here. what I want to do first is I want to use these two colors on the inside. So I save all my, I very rarely get rid of any of my punches. So I have a 2 3/8 inch circle punch here, and I'm going to punch, I want to punch this. I'll punch the red out of the center because this will be covered up. And this is a good way to save paper. And then I have this Starburst punch from a few years ago, and I'm going to punch the center of that. So, and they'll be covered up, so no worries. So I'm going to put these two together. I'm just going to use a little glue here. I loved this gingerbread paper that we had. I still have cards made from it. Got to line these up here. And then we're going to cut a piece of, so I went and grabbed a piece of pecan pie, and this is 3 by 4, and I ran it through an embossing folder. It's an old retired one. Like I say, use what you have. And it's called Softly Falling. It's like snow. So I'm going to put that here. Then I'm going to put this little guy here, and I think we're going to go with the red lid since we're doing the pecan pie background, and then we're going to stamp a sentiment. We're going to put, let's see, I think I'm going to use, this is scrap, yep. We're going to use the sweetest Sweetest Christmas, and we'll do that in red. So this guy's going to go up here, this will go here, and get another stamp or block, set that off to the side, stamp this in red. What I almost did there was ink it this way, which is what you want to do if you have a larger stamp. So, and I think we're gonna punch this out with a little starburst, I think. I can get it open again. My hands have gotten so much weaker. There. So we're going to put this guy together. And trying to decide, I'm going to use some baker's twine, some red baker's twine, if I want to put it on here or just wrap it around. I think I'm going to wrap it around this. So, but first we're going to put this guy together. We're going to get some dimensionals, pop him up a little bit. I think this would be cute. Put that there. See if I can find, I don't have many ones out here, but I am just going to cut off some of this for the lid, pop it up, backing already came off. So, see if I can stick him on there without anything hanging over. Isn't that a cute little jar? And I should have not put it so close to the edge. See if I can trim some of this off, just so I can have oops, stabbed myself. I want to have just this little lip that's covering the top of the jar. And now I'm bleeding on camera. There. Okay. We're going to put this little guy down here. He's going to go there and cover that up. And I think we'll pop that up too. Sometimes when I'm doing a circle, I just use 3 pop-ups, 3 dimensionals. 3-dimensional. It's number 3 dimensionals. And I'm really bleeding there. Grab Kleenex. Those scissors are sharp. So, and I think I'm going to wrap this around. Oops, I'm stuck there. Wrap this around a few times. And we'll see how that looks. Kind of pull this over. I might need a Band-Aid, I don't know. Yep, I'm gonna go get a Band-Aid so I don't bleed all over the car. And we're back with the Band-Aid. I'll show you a little tip that I like to use when I'm doing bows on my card. It just makes it easier for me. Got some glue dots here from Paper Pumpkin Kits. I like to save and reuse. Not reuse, but use for something else. I put a little glue dot there and take that off. And then right where the strings are crossing, I'll press that down in there and it holds it while I tie the bow. Hopefully. If my fingers cooperate. There. And you can trim that off as you want. Now we're going to glue this down. And when you're adhering something that's embossed, you want to either use like the Tombow glue or the Stampin' Seal Plus or tear and tape, because you don't have as much surface area when you're doing that. So this is going to go on here. Oh, I think I like that. Just going to glue that on there. This will be the front of our card. And then, what I do with those little guys, I'm going to put a few of these little guys on here. I think these are just so adorable. I love them. I don't know what I did with my paper piercing tool, but I'll use my Take Your Pick. And I'm going to put, I think, one, something fell, one here, and another big one down here, and a middle-sized one here, 1, 2, 3, and a tiny one here, and then another tiny one, I think, down here. So you like to embellish with odd numbers. So that's the front of our card. I think it turned out pretty good for just winging it. Now we're going to do the inside. So this is the pop-up. I'm putting together a instruction sheet that I'll have available. With a $50 order, you can get the makings for this card kit and the instruction sheet. So we're going to leave that tape on there now. I used the red sticky tape when I made the instruction sheet just because it's a little bit easier to see. So now we're going to do another, let's see, maybe we'll do, let's do the Santa or the snowman. Kind of fun. So we got him and his scarf. And where's that little, well, I guess this is all on stamp. I was looking for the band for his hat and scarf. And then maybe we'll do some snowflakes, I'm not sure. We'll pull it out anyway. So here's this little guy. And here's his hat and scarf. And I ran to put my memento away. So let me go and get that. And I pulled a couple of punches, so we'll just see what we're going to do. See if I can find my scrap of white paper. Here we go. Let's see if this will fit. This has got a score mark on it. Here, this will work. I just have some scraps laying on my desk, so I'll just get rid of those. And we're going to stamp him in black. I was thinking about doing it in brown, but I think black will be better. Nobody wants a brown snowman. So there he is. I could have done him in blue too, I suppose. And then put his red scarf on him. See if I can get the right perspective on this. And this, my head's going to be in the way of the camera, I think. Try to line up that band on his hat. Oh my gosh, I couldn't have done a better job if if I was an expert. That turned out really well. And then we're just going to punch him out. I've got a 1 3/8" punch. I don't know if that'll be big enough. I think so. The other one I pulled was 1 1/4. That won't be big enough. So 1 3/8. We're just going to punch him out. This is going to be adorable. We're going to glue these together. And I love this little starlight pattern. That's why I picked it, because I wanted to use those little starlight starlight mint embellishments. So it's not going to matter how I put them on there. Then I think we're going to, do you want to do a little couple of starlight mints? Maybe we'll just do one one tiny one on the inside. There. Like that. We'll do 3. So when you're mailing your cards, make sure you put an extra piece of cardstock or something to cover. I like to use flat ones. I don't like to use the like the pearls and things like that they have. But if you do, put an extra piece of cardstock on there, and that way it goes through the mailing machine better. So we're going to open this up. Take this off, hopefully. This red sticky tape that we used to have is just like really good adhesive, but the little red pieces, the backing pieces, they kind of tend to stick to you. I think I might put a sentiment here in the bottom too. And then if you wanted to, you could write your sentiment there. So, and if I have any paper left, let me see. I think I found the floor. I'm just going to put a couple strips of paper. I think I want to cover this up. I'll just use some Starlight mint paper. How's that? So I'm going to cut a piece that is, I think this is 2 by 5. So we're just going to cut a piece that's 2 inches, maybe a little less than 2, just a hair. And get my ruler out here. Just to add a little bit more color. So this is like 4 1/4. So we're going to just do a little bit less than 4 1/4. There. And we're going to glue that in there, just to give it a little bit more color. Now if you wanted to, when you started to do this mechanism, you could actually put some DSP down before you start. There, I think I like that better. And then we're going to stamp another sentiment on the bottom, I think. Sending you a jar full of cheer. See if I got the right one. Oh, that's the one that says, "May your heart be filled with joy." I'm going to pull the other one out. Sending you a jar of cheer. So I pray I don't mess this up. There. Oh, thank you, Lord. So I think he turned out pretty well. So there's the front of our card with our little gingerbread man, and I love that they have the accent pieces. I was wondering how this, before I looked at it closely, I didn't realize that it was a 2-step stamp. So I love that it has the all the red accent pieces, or whatever color you want to do. And then it opens up and it says "Sending a jar of cheer." And that pops up at you. So I think it's adorable. And you can set it up like this if you want to. Get rid of that. Get this. And I didn't use my snowflakes. So so they're going to go back in. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, even with all the injuries and missteps and stuff. This card is a lot of fun to put together, and I think this set is cute too, and you can use it pretty much year round if you get both of them. So there's the sweet jar. Get these punches out of here. And the jar of joy, and then there's the jar punch. So I thought this is fun. I want to thank you for crafting with me today. I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking your time to spend a little bit of time with me. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. And if you don't know how to find me, I don't have a StampinUp.net website anymore, but you can find me under demonstrator, and in the next slide I'll insert a picture on how to find me there. So anyway, thank you. I'll have the Alyssa's supplies on my blog, which is cottagelandStamper.blogspot.com. And like I said, if you place a $50 order by the end of November, I'll send you the die cut pieces and the cut pieces to make this card. I can't do any of the stamping, so it's just a rule that they have. So, but you'll get the kit in the mail with the pieces. And the paper, the background paper, will be a little bit different because, well, depending on how many people I have and what's available. So it'll still coordinate with this. But anyway, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. May you have a wonderful day, and may God bless you. Thank you.